Good evening to everyone. I have already told you that how will you decide what should be size of the sample. I have already given you the methods of sampling and I told you you can decide the sample size only if you are using the probability sampling technique. If you are using non-probability sampling technique, then you cannot decide the sample size. Why? Because you do not know your population size, and sample size can be decided only and only if you know your population size. And I have given you the three different ways to decide the sample size. I have given you two tables, then computer generated, and then you can use your formula. Okay, now next I'm going to tell you that why when sample size is less than 30, it is called the small sample, and when it is equal to 30 or more than 30, why it is called a large sample. So what is small sample or difference between small sample or large sample? What is small sample? And next I'm going to tell you the difference between standard error and standard deviation, because that is related to your sample. Now, you know that whenever you collect the data from any population for any variable, then that variable has the distribution in the population. So I'm telling you different population distribution. So different population distributions are, one is called exponential distribution, another is called regular distribution, another is called U distribution, another is called normal distribution, another is called chi-square distribution, and like this there are many distributions. Now, if you have an exponential distribution, so if your population distribution is exponential, and when you take a sample of 1, a sample of 2, 3, 4, 5, then the sample distribution will not be the exponential distribution. The sample distribution will be different from the exponential distribution. Similarly, if you have a regular distribution, and if you take the sample equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth, then the sample distribution will be different from the regular distribution. And if you have a U distribution and take the different samples, then sample distribution will be different. Now you can see the line, whatever you want. So the meaning is that when you are taking a sample of different sizes from the population, then the population distribution is your exponential, but sample distribution will not be exponential. It will be different. Now, when your sample size becomes 30, please listen carefully. When your sample size becomes 30 or more than 30, then the sample distribution will be normal distribution is exponential, and when your sample size is equal to 30 or more than 30, then sample distribution will be normal. 30 or more than 30, then the sample distribution will be normal. So therefore, you can say that irrespective of population distribution, the sample distribution becomes normal when the sample size is 30 or more than 30. Now, this information you may not get from any book, but I will give you the reference of the book. And if you want, then you can see. I've already written. If my voice is not reaching you, then you can see irrespective of population distribution, the sample distribution becomes normal when the sample size is 30 or more than 30. And if you want a reference, so I can give you the reference. There is a book called Business Statistics by Ken Black. Another is Statistics for Management and Economics by Anderson et al. These are the two books which you can refer in order to find out why the sample size equal to 30 or more than 30 is called large sample. And whenever it is less than 30, then it is called a small sample. Otherwise, it will be called the large sample. And please, if possible, share this particular information with your friends, with your teacher, because let us help our teacher also to have this information so that whenever they teach, they are able to give this information to the students, and probably we all will be improving the quality of our research. So I hope this you have understood. Now I'm going to tell you that the difference between SD and SC. Say if you have a population, let us say equal to 50,000, and you take a sample of say 400, and if you collect the weight, if you collect the weight of each member of the sample, and calculate standard deviation, that it will tell the difference within the group. So standard deviation tells the differences within the group. So it tells the difference within the group. Now, from a population of 50,000 and a sample of 400, so how many samples can you have? How many samples can you have? If from the population of 50,000, every time you are taking the sample of the 400, so how many samples will you have? I'm waiting for your answer. No, it is wrong. It is wrong, my dear friend. You can have n number, not 80. No, this is wrong. Because when you are taking a sample of 400, and these 400 again become part and parcel of the 50,000. And when you take another sample of 400, the sum of the people who were there in the first sample may become the member of the second sample or may not become the member of the second sample. And if you do not include the 450,000, then the probability of selection will be different. So this is called replacement. So you are taking the sample with replacement, not without replacement. And if you take the weight of the 400 people and you have the mean, you can calculate the mean of the weight and you will have M1. Now, when you replace, now you have another 400 and take the weight of the 400 people and calculate. So you will have another mean. So like this, you have another mean. So if you have another number here. 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 And you have, let us say, Sn. and then this, you take the weight, and then this will be Mn. See, you are taking the 400 people out of 50,000 and take the weight of each and every person and then take the mean. That becomes M1. Now, these 400 again become the part of the 50,000. Now, again 50,000, take another 400. And in this 400, it is quite possible that there may not be anyone who was in the first draw, or some of the people might get repeated in this. It doesn't matter. But you again have 400. Take the weight of 400 and take the mean. It is M2. Like this, you keep on repeating. Now this M1 is the mean of weight of sample 1, and sample 1 is the group of 400 people. M2 is the mean weight of another sample of 400. M3 is the mean weight of another sample of 400. So M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, Mn, they represent the differences within the group. So now there are differences among the groups. And this difference is called standard error. Or you can say the differences amongst the group is called standard error. Among the groups, or you can say samples, is called standard error. So standard error indicates differences amongst the group, and standard deviation indicates differences within the group. I hope you have understood. Now listen carefully. For all practical purposes, we can never calculate the standard error, because I cannot keep on drawing the sample from the population. It is not possible. So therefore, we estimate the standard error. So standard error cannot be calculated. Standard error cannot be calculated, but it can be estimated through standard deviation. And that is why we have the formula for estimating the standard error of mean. So you can estimate the standard error of a mean and you know it is standard deviation divided by square root of n. So this is what you have and you understand. Sometimes it is n minus 1 and sometimes it is n. When your sample size is small, it is n, otherwise n minus 1. So therefore, this is what you should understand. So therefore, with this, I have completed the sample. Now, you know the steps. One is identification of problem. I have already explained that you know the variable. Now you can write the title and you can write the objectives or research questions. Second step is the formulation of hypothesis. And the third was data collection. And in data collection, I have already explained you the sample. Now, once you know that you have to collect the data from here, then you should know that which tool to be used. Because you cannot collect the data without the help of the tool. This is important. So therefore, if you are interested in collecting the data, then you have to have the tool. Now in social sciences, we call it tool, and in pure sciences, they call it instrument. And understand now, the quality of your research will depend upon the quality of your tool. I repeat this particular point. The quality of your data will depend upon the quality of the tool. And now you know it, in science, we use instrument. And in social science, we use tools. In science, the instruments are very, very costly. And in social science, the tools are not very costly. In pure science, some of the instruments, they cost to the extent of 1 crore, 2 crore, and things of that variety. And the quality of the research, therefore, depends upon the instrument. Now, in India, in science, we are using tools, instruments, but some of our instruments are not very sensitive in comparison to the instruments used in USA or UK or Germany, in the developed countries. We may say anything we like, it doesn't matter, but that's the reality. although we are improving day by day, but still we are much behind these countries which are the developed countries. So therefore, the quality of the data depends on the quality of the data depends on the quality of tool or instrument. Now, as a researcher, we must know what are the characteristics of the good tools or characteristics of tools or instruments. My dear friend, if you sit on a dirty chair, then your cloth will become dirty. So the characteristics of the chair has now become the characteristics of your tool. Characteristics of your paint, the clothes that you have put on. Now, if you have a plate which is dirty, if you put the food in the plate, then the plate characteristics will become the characteristics of the food, and your food will become dirty. So whatever the instrument or tool we are using, so whatever the variable that we are trying to measure or assess, then the data quality will depend upon the quality of the tool. So we must try to understand the different characteristics of the tool or the instrument. Can any one of you tell me what are the characteristics of tool or the instrument? Tell me the characteristics of tool or the instrument. I'm waiting for your result, for your answer. Pramod is the only participant who has written almost all. Rawat is also has written, and other people are writing one by one, so I cannot really understand and cannot find it out. Anyway, so you know some of them. See, you know it, that if you want to measure the temperature of the body, then what will you use? You will use the thermometer. So that means thermometer is the instrument used to measure the temperature. So the moment you say thermometer, automatically it is understood that it is used for measuring the temperature, the body temperature or liquid temperature or any temperature. It is temperature. So each tool and instrument, they have the name, and the name reflects what that instrument or tool can be used. You know, that whenever there is a exam, semester exam or end or yearly exam, then in the examination, you will be using the test with the question paper. So the question paper will be the tool. And you know, it is called achievement test. So that means if the characteristics of the tool is good, then the data which you will get will also be of good quality. Now, if you have the weighing machine, so weighing machine can truthfully give information about your weight. If you have a thermometer, then thermometer will give truthfully the information about the temperature. So the truthfulness of the tool is called validity. So validity refers to truthfulness of the tool. Of the tool or instrument. Now, how truthfully that will assess or measure? I will tell you the difference between assessment and measurement little later. Now, if you are giving the test in mathematics, then to what extent the test paper will assess the achievement in mathematics of the student? That will be the validity. So how truthfully the achievement test in mathematics is able to assess the achievement of each and every student in mathematics. So if you are using the reading comprehension test, then reading comprehension test will assess truthfully the reading comprehension of the student. And if it is English reading comprehension, then this test will assess the English reading comprehension of the student. If you have an English vocabulary test, and if you give that English vocabulary test to the student, then this will assess the vocabulary of the students. If you have a reasoning test, and if you administer it on the people, then the score will indicate the reasoning of the person, because it is meant to assess the reasoning. It will not give you the information about the vocabulary, because the tool is not meant for vocabulary. But if you have a vocabulary test, then it will not give you the information about the comprehension. So each tool will have a name, and this name will indicate for what purpose that particular tool was developed. So that is why whenever there is an exam, on the question paper it is written, it is English test, Hindi test, mathematics test. For class 4th, for class 3, for class 8, for class 9. So that is the meaning of the one characteristic of the tool, and that is the validity. Now another is called reliability. My dear friend, you might have experienced that sometimes people say that the marks which a student obtains in a particular test does not really indicate his or her understanding. Why? Because if you administer the same tool, the same test on the same set of students again and again, you will find that their scores will differ. And when their scores will differ, that means this particular tool is not reliable. So reliability refers to consistency. Consistency of measurement or assessment. Now please check your wattage, and in my watch it is 13 minutes past 8. What is the time by your watch? Now it is 14 minutes past 8. What is the time by your watch? Now, if your watch is also giving the same, then means your watch is reliable, because the time is 14 minutes past 8, and your watch also gives the same time. Many a times, some people, they set their watch 5 minutes ahead of the correct time. I repeat, sometimes some of the people, they set their watches 5 minutes ahead the correct time. That means every time when you ask them the time, they will always give the 5 minutes ahead. If it is 8:14, they will give 19 minutes past 8. So when they are saying 19 minutes past 8, that means their time is not correct. So you are, although every time your watch is giving the same time, so your watch may be reliable, but it is not valid because it does not tell you the exact time. It always gives you the time which is ahead of the actual time. So therefore, a tool may be a tool or instrument may be reliable but not valid. On the other hand, if the tool is valid, if the tool is valid, then the tool has to be reliable. So many a times the people ask the question that if your tool is valid, do you think it has to be reliable? And if your tool is reliable, does it mean that your tool is valid? So your answer should be, if my tool is reliable, then it may or may not be valid. But if my tool is valid, then it has to be reliable. So that means validity ensure validity ensures reliability, but reliability does not ensure validity. Because if your watch is giving the time of the day at that moment, then it is valid and it's reliable also. But if you set your watch 5 minutes ahead or 2 minutes ahead, then it is consistent, but it's not valid. So may not lead to validity, but if there is a validity, then consistency will come automatically. I'll give you another example. Many a times when you reach home, so some of the people, time of reaching home is fixed, that they might be reaching by 6 p.m. because you reach every day by 6 p.m. So your family members, they know that you reach home by 6 p.m. If a person comes to meet you and if he rings a bell and they ask him, yes, sir, what do you want? Then he may say, I want to meet him, whether has he come or not. So your family member may ask what is the time, and then he may say it is 6 o'clock. Then family members will say, you come and sit, he might be coming, and he comes. But many a times you might have felt, you might have observed that if you happen to go to meet to someone, then the family members may say he may come right now, or he may not come even after 2 hours. So if the family members, they say that he may come now or he may come after 2 hours, so that means they are not sure. So that means now this person, when he reaches home, his time is not fixed. So he is not reliable because he may come early, he may not come early. Sometime might be coming early, sometime might not be coming early. So this is the point that you should try to understand. You know it, that you might have experienced that when you travel by the train, sometime the train is on time and sometimes the train is not on time. But you as a passenger has to reach to the railway station before the departure time written on the ticket, because you expect that the train may come on time and may start on time. You know that special trains which have been started, Shatabdi, it starts on dot. So it is reliable because it every day it starts on dot. And if it is reliable, it is valid also. So because if anything is valid, it has to be reliable. So if it is reliable, it is valid also. But if it is not reliable, then it is not valid. But if it is valid, then it has to be reliable. So now one question may come to the mind is that whenever you are developing the tool, Mr. H, I was going to ask you the same thing. Why don't you try? The question one of the participants has asked, I was going to ask you the same thing. That because the validity ensures reliability, then why do we have methods of establishing reliability? Then why there are methods of establishing reliability? So any participant like to answer? If any participant like to answer, please answer. Yes, Krishna. Krishna has written something that because we need to find that how much reliable the tool is. Let me answer this. Validity only ensure that the tool is reliable, but it does not indicate the degree of reliability. So if your tool is valid, that means it is reliable. But how much reliable, that validity coefficient cannot tell you. In order to know the degree of reliability, then there must be different methods of establishing reliability. And that is why there are methods of establishing reliability. I hope you have understood now. So I have given the question, I have given the answer also. Is it clear or you want to ask a question? The another characteristic of the tool should be objectivity. You know that if you have a essay type question and if you have the answer from the students, let's say there is one student, his question paper and his answer sheets. In the answer sheet, he has written the question and he has written the answer. Now this particular, it is a essay type question. Now you make 10 photocopy of this particular answer sheet. And if you give it to the 10 different people, examiners, do you think that all 10 examiners separately, will they give the same marks or will they give the different marks? Will they give the same marks or will they give the different marks? But if you have the objective type question and there are suppose 10 objective type questions and you make the photocopy of the answer sheet and you give it to another 10 people, then do you think will the marks given by each examiner will be the same or will it be different? So it will be the same. So that is why in research, we have the tools where the items are objective type. So that whether you do the scoring or I do the scoring, it doesn't matter. The total score will be the same. So objectivity refers to the consistency in scoring by the different people. So objectivity refers to consistency in scoring by different people or by different persons or by different researchers. So that is the meaning of, and that is why you might have seen that in social science, when the tools are available and these tools are objective type. Now another is the sensitivity, or you can also call least count. Least count means smallest measurement taken with the help of the instrument. Now you have your mobile. Now, what is the smallest measurement that you can have on your mobile? What is the smallest measurement that you can have? Is it 1 minute, 1 second, or is it 1 minute in the mobile? In the mobile, the smallest time that you can take is what? And in the watch, now there are many digital watches where you can take the fraction of a second also. So those watches which can give you fraction of a second, they are more sensitive in comparison to the watches which can give you only 1 second. And you might have seen on the TV that whenever there are matches, whether Olympic matches or any matches, then in those matches, you can see that the time which is taken by the athlete is in fraction. So the sensitivity of any tool depends upon the smallest measurement taken with the help of that tool. And in science, we call it least count. So sensitivity of the tool, of the instrument, depends on the smallest measurement taken with the help of the instrument. And sensitivity cannot be the characteristics of the tool. For example, if there is a small change in your understanding, then that small change cannot be deducted with the help of the achievement test. If there is a small change in your vocabulary, so the vocabulary test may not be able to indicate that small change. But if you take your weight and then take the breakfast and then again take the weight using the weighing machine, you will find there will be slight change. So that means the weighing machine is sensitive and it can measure the smallest change. Now in science, your all instruments are very, very sensitive. The more sensitive the instrument is, the more costly it will be. And that is why in science, the instruments are very, very costly. Some of the instruments, as I was telling you few seconds before, that in science, some of the tools are, the cost is crore, 1 crore, 2 crore, etc., etc. But in social science, you do not have the tool which is very costly. You know, aeroplane, the instruments which are used there are very, very, very sensitive. And therefore, the cost of each plane is too high. It's in many thousand crores. Now, so therefore, the sensitivity cannot be the characteristics of the tool, but it will be the characteristic of the instrument. Now, next is usability. That you should be able to know how a particular tool is to be used. If it is thermometer, all of you know how to read the temperature on the thermometer. If it is a pressure, then you know how to read the blood pressure of the person. If it is the time, then how to read the time. Now, there are now tools. And you know, whenever you purchase the mobile, along with the mobile, you always get a small booklet. Have you ever read the booklet? I'm sure you might not have read the booklet. And if you have not read the booklet, that means you may not be able to use your mobile properly. Now, whenever you purchase a fridge, along with the fridge, there is always a small booklet which gives what precautions you should take so that you are able to use your fridge properly. When you purchase a car, along with the car, there is a small booklet. And that small booklet will contain lot of information about the car. Now, whenever you purchase any instrument, so there will always be a small manual which you should read. And there are many instruments for which you are given training in how to use it, how to operate it. Now, in social sciences, we have the tools. And the information about the tool is given in the booklet, and that booklet we call it a manual. So therefore, the usability of the tool is given in the manual. So you have the usability of the tool can be obtained by reading manual. Meant for the tool. For example, if you want to use the intelligence test, so the intelligence test developed by the person has got the manual. So you should read the manual to find out how has he defined the intelligence, how many items are there, how much time is to be given to the person to answer the questions given there, what is the reliability, what is the validity, all the how the scoring is to be done, all these information you will find in the manual. There is a adjustment inventory. So there is a manual for adjustment inventory, and in that manual you will get information about everything, that what is adjustment, how many types of adjustment, and how many types of adjustment can be assessed with the help of this particular tool, which is called adjustment inventory. So how many items are there? Which items are related to home adjustment, which items are related to social adjustment, which items are related to personal adjustment, and so on and so forth. How the scoring is to be done, what is the reliability, what is the... So all these type of the information you will always find in the manual. So my simple suggestion is, please, before you think of using the tool, you must read the manual carefully. Because in the manual, it will be given that when you are administering that tool, then what instructions you should give to the people, to the student or to the person, whatever it is. So what instructions you should give? So instruction, the time that you will give to the person to write the answers, the scoring, the reliability, the validity, etc., etc. So accept your sensitivity. The tool will have the 4 characteristics: reliability, validity, objectivity, and usability. But in science, when there is an instrument, then you will have the 5 characteristics: validity, reliability, then objectivity, then sensitivity, and then usability. So these are the characteristics. Any question you want to ask, then I am going to the difference between measurement and assessment. Any question you want to ask? So now, do you know the difference between measurement and assessment? Do you know the difference between measurement and assessment? Should I tell you or you know it? Gaurav, standard deviation indicates differences differences within group. Gaurav, I repeat, the standard deviation indicates differences within the group, and standard error indicates differences amongst the groups. I repeat, standard error indicate the differences amongst the group. So this is the difference between the standard deviation and the standard error. And we can never calculate the standard error. We only can estimate the standard error, because from the population, you keep on drawing the sample, and the sample is very, very large. So you cannot keep on drawing. It's not possible. So I hope you have understood it. Jyoti, I don't know. You are saying, please tell. Okay. You want me to tell the difference between assessment and measurement. I'll tell you, nothing to worry about. Now, let me give you that there are two columns. In this column, I am giving you the example, and I am giving you the example of the variable in both the columns. I will write one variable in column A, another variable in column B. I will write another variable in column A and another variable in column B. So all variables under column A will have one peculiar characteristics, the common characteristics. So what you should do is, you should try to find out the common characteristics. Is it clear? I'm now giving you social problem. Here I'm giving you weight. So weight is a variable and social problems is also a variable. So now you can think what might be the characteristic of the variable which I have given under A, and what might be the characteristic of variable which I have given under B. Do not write, just think. Do not write, just think. Here I am saying achievement in Hindi. Here I am saying head circumference. So the social problems and achievement in Hindi will have something common, and weight and head circumference will have something common. Reasoning is the example under A, and here it is. Height. Here it is. Self-confidence. Here it is. Number of pages in books. Here it is. Adjustment. Here it is. Number of words per line. Here is and here it is temperature. Now, are you able to find out that what is common under A and what is common under B? Whatever is called common under A is not common under B. Whatever is common under B examples is not common under A. So can you tell me what common characteristics you find under A? Anxiety. Power of lens. Stress. Hemoglobin. Should I give you more example? Jyoti, why do you say that A is assessment and B is measurement? Why? Jyoti, why? Chauhan, you say under A column the data will be received in qualitative. No, the achievement in Hindi is not qualitative, it is quantitative. Reasoning is quantitative, self-confidence is quantitative. The social problem is qualitative. So what you think is not correct? What about column A? What about column A? No, A is not psychological. Social problem is not psychological. Achievement in Hindi is not psychological. That is not correct. Jyoti, whatever is under A are variables, all these will vary. Whatever is under B are variables, all these will vary. So in both the cases, they will vary. So job satisfaction is another example I am giving you under A. Under B is blood count. So let us see who can give me the correct answer. Yes, Pramod, your one answer is, sorry, Pramod, your answer is not correct. Pramod, your answer is not correct. The question is that whatever is given under A, what are the common characteristics under A? And what are the common characteristics under B? Because I want to tell you the difference between measurement and assessment. So you should know which one is measurement and which one is assessment and why. My dear friend Rawat, oh my God. Rawat, no beta. Petro, your answer is absolutely correct. My dear friend, under A, you have the social problems. The information will be qualitative in nature, but can you find out the complete social problem of any person? Can you find out the complete social problem of any person? The answer is no. Can you find out the complete achievement in Hindi of any person? The answer is no. And the information is quantitative here. Can you find out the complete reasoning of any person? The answer is no. The information will be quantitative in nature. Can you find out the complete self-confidence of any person? The answer is no. And information will be quantitative. So under A, whatever is given, you cannot find out the complete information. So under A, variables under A do not one cannot find the complete information of the variable under A, of the variable given under A. You can never find the complete achievement, complete adjustment, complete job satisfaction, no. But you can always find out the complete weight of the person at that point of time. If you stand on the weighing machine and the weighing machine gives the 65, then it means on that day, at that point of time, your complete weight was 65 kg. You can take the measuring tape and you can take it around your head. You can find out the complete head circumference. You can find out your complete height. So one can find the complete information of the variables given under B. So one cannot find out the complete information given under A. So it is called assessment. Now one can find the complete information of the variables given under B. So it is called measurement. So in science, we are using the word measurement because our instrument can give the complete information. But in social science, we are using the word tool because they will help in assessment and cannot give the complete information. So that is why the tools are less costly in comparison to the instrument. So I hope you have understood the difference between the measurement and the assessment. So any participant like to ask the question, otherwise I will proceed further tomorrow. Yes, Rawat, your answer was correct. Congratulations. So any question you want to ask before I close it? Rawat, sampling error means that when you are selecting a sample from the population, your sample will never truly represent your population. I repeat, when you collect take a sample from the population and you assess any variable, so that will never tell you about the population. So that is the sampling error. And in social science, you have the sampling error much more than in the pure science. Now, evaluation, the meaning of evaluation is evaluation is equal to measurement or assessment plus value judgment. Now, when you say that your weight is, you are overweight, so weight is your measurement, and when you are saying overweight, that is your value judgment, and that is what is your evaluation. When the doctor tells to the patient that you have high blood pressure, so the doctor has measured the blood pressure and it is beyond the particular cutoff, so that he says value judgment is high blood pressure. When you tell to the student that you have passed the exam, it is on the basis of the marks. That marks is the assessment and the criteria of passing, you know, is the value judgment. When you say first division, so you have given first division on the basis of the marks. So marks is your assessment, and when you say first division, that is your value judgment. So that is what exactly is the meaning of the evaluation. The doctor does the evaluation. The teacher does the evaluation. The teacher says your answer is correct. That means you know it. The teacher says your answer is wrong. That means you don't know it. Okay. So any other question, you are most welcome to come tomorrow and can ask me, no problem. So thank you very much for joining. Stay safe, keep learning.